California officials this week releasing updated fire hazard zones for the first time in more than a decade. Locations on the Central Coast, some of the many places across the state to see changes.
On Tuesday, I told you about 2 new fire severity zones in Santa Maria, and that got me thinking, how many places in San Luis Obispo are susceptible to wildfires? I'm community reporter Carson Wells, and I spoke with the San Luis Obispo fire chief, who told me that 60% of the city falls within one of these zones. I looked into where these areas are and how you could be impacted. The newly updated fire severity map released by California Forestry and Fire Protection shows quite a few communities across the Central Coast as being susceptible to wildfires, including San Luis Obispo. Compared to the last version of this map, which was released in 2011, the total acreage considered to be very high fire hazard severity zones has grown by 234%.
In 2011, the city of San Luis Obispo had approximately 25 parcels that landed within that very high fire hazard severity zone, and there's about 17,000 parcels in the city. The new number in just the very high is about 2,600 parcels.
So what caused this significant increase? Fire Chief Tuggle says there are a few factors.
We've had some significant warming that we've seen in terms of climate change. We've seen a significant number of fires. And the biggest thing we've seen is the involvement of wildland fires into the urban environment.
On the map, Chief Tuggle says there are a few notable areas in San Luis Obispo that should be aware of wildland fire danger.
The areas that we'd like our residents to be keenly aware of are around Irish Hills, Perfumo Canyon, that whole area of sort of southwest of Los Osos Valley Road, the area above Johnson Avenue, near Bishop and Lizzie, San Luis Drive, those areas. And then the other is around like Hill Street and Lincoln Street, right near the freeway at the base of Cerro San Luis.
I spoke to community members who live near Lizzie Street, one of those areas of concern, who tell me they experienced a fire in August of last year.
I was woken up like about 4 o'clock in the morning and everything.
The entire hillside, all the way up to almost the top of the hill back behind you, was lit up like the 4th of July.
These residents tell me that despite the recent fire, in the 5 years both of them have lived there, that was the only one they experienced. They add that wildfires aren't too big of a concern for them. With the increase in very high fire severity zones, Chief Tuggle says that San Luis Obispo residents may see some changes.
The city right now is assessing what those different zones will require of both the community, property owners, the city staff, and so that's part of our communications plan that will be coming out in the next few months, is to let the community know what exactly is required of them.
The city is still working on regulations for these zones, and if you live in one of these areas, you have until July 1st to submit public comment before any final decisions are made. If you want to submit a public comment, I'll have more information on how to do so on this story at ksby.com. In San Luis Obispo, Carson Wells, KSBY News.